favorite sofa. He calmly sips a cup of clove tea. Hayatu and Umaru, my uncles, are also present, surrounded by a few close friends. These men are supposed to pass on their final words of advice, list our future duties as wives, and then say their goodbyes, after granting us their blessings. Munyal, my girls, for patience is a virtue. God loves those who are patient, my father repeats, imperturbable. Today, I have achieved my duty as your father. I raised you, instructed you, and today I entrust you to these responsible men. You are now big girls, women. Henceforth, you are married and owe respect and consideration to your husbands. Munyal, my girls, says my uncle Hayatu. Then he pauses and clears his throat before listing orders in a solemn tone. Respect your 5 daily prayers. Read the Quran so that your progeny will be blessed. Fear your God. Spare your minds from distraction. Be for him a slave, and he will be your captive. Be for him the earth, and he will be your sky. Be for him a field, and he will be your rain. Be for him a bed, and he will be your hut. Do not sulk. Do not look down on a gift. Do not return it. Do not be bad-tempered. Do not be talkative. Do not be scatterbrained. Do not beg. Do not demand. Be modest. Be grateful. Be patient. Be discreet. Valorize him so that he will honor you. Respect his family and submit to them so that they will support you. Aid your husband. Preserve his fortune. Preserve his dignity. Preserve his appetite. May he never starve because of your laziness, your bad mood, or your bad cooking. Spare his sight, his hearing, his sense of smell. May his eyes never be confronted by anything dirty in your food or in your house. May his ears never hear obscenities or insults coming from your mouth. May his nose never smell anything that reeks in your body or in your house. May he breathe in only perfume and incense.
So I finally finished The Impatient. You like my book bag? Oh, yes, indeed. I finished. This was my TBR jar pick. And if you've been watching my videos, you know that it took me a long time to finish my previous pick. How the Woman Could Fly. I forced myself to read it and finish it. But this was great. I whizzed through this, even though it's only like 267 pages. I finished it. I think I finished it about 2 weeks ago. Anyway, let's talk about it. So I'm going to tell you first about the author. And the author is Daily Amadou Amal. She is a Fula native in the far north region of Cameroon. She writes of the Fulbe culture and explores the social problems of both a contemporary and a traditional nature. Her work confronts the problems of women in Fulani society, as well as social problems in her region, especially the discrimination against women. And she's written about 3 novels, and this book in particular, The Impatient, was an escape for Miss Amal after being forced into marriage at the age of 17. Though through reading, she became aware of the social realities surrounding her and realized that what was happening to women in her community was not normal. Her passion for advocating for the rights of women and girls was born from this awareness. So she writes mostly in the French language, but she is a renowned Cameroonian writer, activist, and UNICEF ambassador. She was born in 1975 in Diamari, Cameroon. Her organization promotes the education and development of women with a special emphasis on raising awareness and putting an end to violence committed against women of her region. She is the author of 3 books, as I said before. She really simplifies what the culture is within that region, and I'm researching my ancestry through ancestry.com. I am also from that region. My ancestors are from Nigeria and Cameroon. So then that really sparked my interest in this book. So, hailing from the community, she's the first female writer from North Cameroon to achieve international acclaim, winning prestigious awards. So she has won, it's called the Prix Goncourt Award, and she's also won a PEN Translation Prize. So she is definitely acclaimed. And her impactful novels and advocacy resonate globally, amplifying women's voices and shedding light on social injustices. So I also listened to this book in audio. I did immersive reading, and it was narrated by Liz Femi. Some of you may already know who this is. I never heard of her. She is an actor and a writer, and she has narrated. So she also narrated Death of the Author, and that novel is by Nnedi Okorafor, and she also narrated Patience is a Subtle Thief, and this novel is by Abby Ishola-Ayodeji. Sorry if I butchered that. And Black Sunday, a novel by Tola, Rotimi, Abraham. And she's acted in such things as Parks and Recreation, and I believe a Netflix series called Love. So I'm not that familiar with her acting. However, her narration in this book was phenomenal. Now, she did the voices of every character in the book. And so now let's talk about the book. So, I may be referring to my notes, and I'll tell you, The Impatient is a story of 3 women suffering from the same fate. Soul-crushing marriages in a country where women have little agency and no escape. So the author breaks her novel into 3 parts, one in each of their voices, these 3 women. There is Ramla, who has finally met the love of her life, only to be ripped away from him to be married off to a wealthy and important man in her village. who already has another wife. Then there's Nnedi, her sister, who is forced to marry her cousin, an abusive alcoholic who rapes her, beats her, and subjects her to emotional torture. And there's Safira. Safira is Ramla's co-wife, who feels betrayed when her husband of 20 years takes another younger wife, and who turns to every kind of spell or enchantment she can to ruin Ramla's life. These three women are robbed of their dignity, their control, their ability to experience love in the way they always imagine, and are told incessantly to have patience. But these women are fresh out of that. So throughout the book, all they keep hearing is manya. Manya, and manya means to have patience. The novel takes place in Cameroon, and the author's message is clear. The practice of forced marriage and forced polygamous marriage cannot go on. Women must be able to have a say over their own lives and their destinies. So the author found a way to link the three women's voices. And it is so real. They are in a shared connected pain. They are given the same orders, manya, and the same advice. Even with the knowledge that one of the wives is being abused, it doesn't matter. You stay with him. You stay in that marriage. You don't embarrass us, humiliate us. You don't even let the other wives know that you're unhappy. And they live in the same village and breathe the same air. And yet each suffers something specific and grapples with it in her own way. Ramla is heartbroken, sad, beaten down, shut off, and her sentences are short and to the point. And she observes her co-wife with matter-of-fact statements about her appearance because she is resigned to her fate. She does not love this man, and she cannot deny that she has been presented to this man as his wife. So therefore, she is just quiet and to herself and reserved. She's attempting to stay strong for her sister's sake. And she is infused with the least emotion of all in the book. She has the least emotion. Nnedi is the younger sister, and she's thrown into this marriage with this, she is the most frightened, and she is the most helpless. She begs, pleads with her male relatives to help her out of her abusive marriage before her husband manages to kill her. There is more urgency in her voice, but when she suffers the worst atrocities, her life drains from her sentences. When her situation drives her to near madness, she even escapes at some point. She runs away, but they find her and bring her back and say, you have to deal with this. This is just how it is. Safira is the jealous co-wife out for blood. She is the most passionate and the angriest. She becomes just intense on hurting Ramla. She bemoans losing her spot as the favorite wife. She desperately tries to win her husband back. Her narration utilizes the most exclamation points, so she is really frantically trying to change the situation. She runs through her husband's money, paying for spells to gain her husband's favorite back and to hurt Ramla. So, through each of their stories, binding them all together, comes that phrase again and again. Patience, my girls. Mon y'all. Mon y'all. I was so impressed with this book and the writing. It's a powerful, heartrending, and insightful novel about a trio of women who dare to rebel against oppressive, long-held cultural traditions. And this really opened my eyes to what polygamists probably have to deal with, not just in Cameroon, but other countries. It's everywhere. So I'm glad I'm in a monogamous relationship. But pick this book up and check it out for yourself. Like I said, it's not very long, but it's very impactful, and I highly recommend listening to it in audio, because as I said, the narrator, Liz Femi, does an excellent job. And let me know your thoughts. I like some feedback. I like to know, if you have read it, what did you think? And if you haven't, would you be interested in this? It is very cultural. And yeah, just pick it up. This is very good. So that's my chat, and I'll be back with you soon with another video. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and that way you can know when I come out with another video, and you can follow me and keep track of my book reading and book reviews, bookstore, everything that I put on here. So see you again soon. Bye.